and it was an eye-opening experience. I spent some time at Covenant House, California, and Covenant House is a wonderful nationwide organization, actually international. They have centers throughout the U.S. and also in Canada and I believe Latin America. And they provide shelter as well as services for homeless and at-risk youth. So they focus primarily on 18 to 21-year-olds. I was first introduced to them several months back, maybe 6 months ago or so, and was really impressed with the services that they provide, because it's more than just giving someone a bed to sleep in. They have rehabilitative programs to get people, these young people, back on their feet or on their feet for their first time. So they do a lot of job training, and they have internships, and they teach them how to find jobs and how to be good employees, and so much more, from great music classes, this phenomenal, actually, video and film development program, and so much more. And so I had reached out to them, and I knew one of the things that they did was go on outreach every night, 365 days a year. They head out onto the streets, in this case of Hollywood, California, which is basically where I live, and look for youth who are homeless and offer them food, drink, counsel, blankets, and talk to them about some of their options in terms of housing, Covenant House being one of those options. So I got a chance to go on an outreach mission with them, and their two drivers, Moises and Nick, were two phenomenal men. I was so moved by their generosity of spirit, how they talk to these young people, and I learned that one of the keys to getting young people off of the streets is to build trust with them. It's not an instant thing in most cases. You really need to spend time nurturing and developing a trust. Oftentimes the homeless youth are homeless because they haven't been able to trust people. Either they've been kicked out of their homes, or they ran away from home for various issues. So Nick and Moises are just so kind in their hearts that it exudes out of them, and these young people, you can tell, really trust them and respect them, and come up and talk to them and share with them what's going on in their lives and what's going on the streets and things like that. So it was a very moving experience. It was also sort of tough in that we were most of the time a mile or so away from my house, and on streets that I frequent all the time, that I drive on, and some that I walk on, and I somehow don't see all the plight of these young people when I frequent these streets. And it was interesting, as I was riding along in the van, I wasn't looking at restaurants or at street signs or anything like that. I was really trying to focus on looking at everyone on the streets. And for me, that's just not something I do. I walk by people, I drive by people, and don't necessarily pay attention particularly to the people. So it was a different way to see my city. It was eye-opening. The fact that there are homeless youth who are doing anything to survive, including prostitution, and things like that, a mile from my house, is very upsetting, and something I want to look more into. So it was certainly eye-opening. I also had a chance while I was at Covenant House to meet with a resident there, and she has had quite a rough ride and a rough time with some family, and there are substance abuse issues and some mental health issues that plague her family, and she found herself homeless and found Covenant House, and she told me her story that got her to Covenant House, and then I got to hear how she's doing at Covenant House, and it is so clear to me that the program works. She is a remarkable young woman with great spirit, who I know will continue on her journey and will do really, really great things. But I asked her, what does it mean to you when you have people who you don't even know come and volunteer and serve and care about you. And she said something along the lines of, it's one of the most meaningful things because she learned that she couldn't count on people, that she couldn't count on her family, and she now has complete strangers who she can count on and who do care about her. And for her, that's so remarkable because, again, she can't rely on her own family, but can rely on the love of these strangers. So she is filled with hope, and I know she'll do great things. So it was an eye-opening evening. Definitely a bit somber, but I'm thrilled that there is a place like Covenant House to give hope to so many. And I feel like 18 to 21-year-olds are sort of a forgotten group of people out there. We talk a lot about kids and the need to help kids, which of course we need to. But I think once you become an adult at 18, which really you're not an adult, I can say now, then I thought of course I was. We kind of said, well, you're an adult now, go figure it out. And it's just not that easy. So thank you to Covenant House for providing those services and for saving lives every single day and for letting me take part in that effort. On to day 6.